What is going on YouTube? Joe here with Culination Media, bringing you yet another live Pokemon X and Y Wi-Fi battle against subscriber/follower on Twitter, Lorraine. And today we are having an OU match. So again, it should be interesting, especially because I'm only bringing 2 OU Pokemon to this battle, so we will see how things go. Before we get started though, just would like to remind you guys of our like goal for this video, which is going to be 70 likes, so if you can, please show some support and click that thumbs up button right below this video because it does help out a lot, and I do appreciate it. Now my opponent is bringing Smeargle, Ditto, Alakazam, Skarmory, Blissey, and Gyarados. So immediately, the Bliss core. This is going to be a very long battle. I just want to caution you because I have nothing that's going to be able to take out that core. Really, I'm just going to have to wear it down. Now, I didn't even go over what I'm bringing, but I am bringing Delphox, Crobat, Rotom Mow, Scizor, which is going to be Choice Banded, obviously, Swampert, and Sylveon. So that is the deal. And I don't really know what I want to start off with. I kind of want to start off with the Crobat. He could very easily, or not he, it's just she. I'm sorry. I'm feeling that the Smeargle is going to be starting off, but there's also a possibility that the Ditto could lead off to copy whatever I lead off with, and then potentially U-turn or Volt Switch out. My team is very, very VoltTurnish. I have Rotom Mow obviously has the Volt Switch, Scizor has U-turn, and Crobat has U-turn, and by the looks of this team, I'm going to have to Volt Switch almost the entire match, and I'm going to break that core. So I want to apologize in advance, because that's what this match is going to be. If you don't like Volt turning and switching and all that stuff, I suggest that you don't watch this battle, because it's going to be a stall fest with lots of Volt turning, and that's just what it is, because that's what my opponent brought. So, and that's really the only thing I can do. So we will see though. Maybe it won't be like that. I don't know, because it is a subscriber, so they could have some funky sets like what I like to run, but who knows. Alright, our opponent's going to start off with the Crobat, and we've got the Crobat as well. Oh, not Crobat. We have the Crobat, our opponent has the Ditto. I'm sorry, I don't even know what's going on right now. So, I don't think that my opponent's going to do anything but U-turn out, because Crobat can't really do anything to itself. It only has Brave Bird, Roost, Defog, and U-turn, so these moves really aren't like crazy or anything. You could go for Brave Bird, but he would weaken himself. Obviously, he's gonna go first because, not he, she. My opponent is a she. I need to get that in my head. She's gonna go first because she has the Choice Scarf on that Ditto, and that is the thing. Now, out comes. Oh, I don't even want to try to pronounce that nickname. I have no idea what language that is, but it's not mine. So we're gonna U-turn out as the Skarmory comes in. I don't see a Rocky Helmet, so that is absolutely fantastic, but that means that Leftovers is probably a thing. At the very least, we did break the Sturdy on this thing, so I can go into Rotom Mow here, I guess, or I can go into Delphox. If I go into Rotom Mow and try to Volt Switch, then the Blissey is going to come out, and it's going to be unfortunate. But if I go into Delphox, I can Fire Blast. And again, still the Blissey is going to come out, and I can't do anything to it. We're going to go into the Rotom, and we can T-Bowl, we can Volt Switch, we can do some things, we can make some things happen here, hopefully. And this Rotom, I don't know, I've got Trick on the Rotom, and I've got Switcheroo on the Delphox, both with choice items, so that could help out. I was going to kill that Skarmory, because we got a crit, but he had the, what was it, the Wakan Berry? I think it's Wakan that decreases the power of super effective electric type moves. So that was weird. I guess we just canceled out the berry, maybe? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So he's got a Taunt, and that is unfortunate. Taunt Skarmory. That is very interesting, because Skarmory's pretty slow, so a slow Taunt isn't always the best, but if you can catch something on a switch, that could help. So now we're going to have to U-turn out, because I was really predicting something else. And we can't do anything to this Skarmory. Anyway, Roost is probably coming, and I can't do anything about it. So we're going to U-turn out. And like I said, what did I say? It was going to be a Volt-switching marathon. And we already have had, what, like 3 turns, and it's just been U-turn, Volt Switch, U-turn. That's what this match is going to come down to until I can break down one of these walls. Once Skarmory or Blissey is out of the way, I'm going to have a much easier time taking care of this team. But I do need to make sure that I keep that Rotom around. Because of that Gyarados, I don't have anything else to deal with it. And we still haven't seen the Smeargle. And she may decide to not bring that out until the Crobat is gone, knowing that I have Defog now, because she did see my moveset thanks to the Ditto transforming. So that could be a thing. We're going to go into one Decimo here on Delphox as Skarmory is going to Roost. That's not going to get it back up to full health, though. Kind of sort of close. It's more like 80% of its full health. We can still one-shot it with a Fire Blast. Or we can predict a Psyshock, or not predict a Psyshock. We can go for Psyshock, predicting the Blissey to come in. But I don't know if that's the best idea. She's going to withdraw. She's withdrawing. Out comes the Red Devil, which is not going to be Blissey. It's going to be the Gyarados. We're going to get that Intimidate off, which really does absolutely nothing. But we're going to hit this Gyarados with a Choice Specs Fire Blast. And that actually does some decent damage, especially because Gyarados is so bulky. I don't see an item here. This could be Mega Gyarados. Very, very possible, because I didn't see lefties. I mean, unless this thing has Rocky Helmet, which I guess is possible. That Wakan Berry on the Skarmory really threw me for a loop, though. I was not expecting that at all. At least we know it doesn't have Recovery of any kind, no Citrus Berry, no lefties, and doesn't have the Rocky Helmet, so I can U-turn on it safely to get some momentum and not have to worry about that kind of thing. Now, I'm locked into Fire Blast, so really that is not the best thing in the world for me right now. This Gyarados can very easily one-shot me with a Waterfall. Or it can just set up in my face with a Dragon Dance as I switch out. But we pretty much have to switch here. Can't just stay in on a Gyarados with a Delphox that's locked into a crappy move like Fire Blast. So, I mean, Fire Blast isn't a crappy move, but it's a crappy move to be using on a Gyarados. As we switch into the Rotom, the Dragon Dance is a real thing, but I'm pretty sure we still outspeed due to the Choice Scarf. So we can stay in here and try to take this thing out. We really don't have any other option. If we switch and let it get another Dragon Dance up, our lives are going to be ruined. I don't know if she's going to predict my Rotom to have the Choice Scarf. She, I guess, doesn't want to risk it at this point, so she is going to switch out. She's going to go into Bubbles, and that is going to be the Blissey. So that is really not something I wanted to see, because this Volt Switch is going to do absolutely nothing. Now, the key to this match might be to end up catching Blissey with a Psyshock or two. That honestly might be the only way that I'm going to be able to do anything. The only other thing I can think of is maybe, if it really comes down to it, having to trick either the Skarmory or the Blissey so that it can't switch moves. So that, oh man, this is going to be tough. Blissey-Skarmory cores and Glizzcore Blissey cores. I feel like I said core too many times. But anyway, those cores are just incredibly difficult to break. They are the premier OU stalling shenanigan sets, basically. Basically, that's what it is. So we're going to go for the Psyshock here, and that does a decent amount of damage to a Blissey. Now, she may just switch out in this next turn to go into the Skarmory, figuring I'm probably locked into it. She gets the Toxic off, though. So our poor Wandissimo is poison. We do have a way to get rid of that. We do have our Sylveon with Heal Bell, so we should be okay there. I'm sure this Blissey is also carrying the Heal Bell or Aromatherapy or some kind of thing like that to cure it from status conditions, so we can't even really worry about toxicking it. Oh my god, I can't say words today. I can't English. I know English. Now that I think about it, I don't actually have anything on my team that can inflict status conditions anyway, which is a little bit of a problem. I'm just like an all-out attacking type of team, I guess. In comes the Alakazam to take the Psyshock. That's not going to take it too well because it does hit on physical defense. And that does, even though it's not very effective, look how much damage that did to this thing. That did like 75%. Alakazam is so frail, especially on the physical side, so I guess that makes sense. But gee whiz. Gee whiz, that is a not very effective move. Now, do I want to stay in and risk getting hit by a Shadow Ball? I know the Shadow Ball is coming. I absolutely know the Shadow Ball is coming. And I don't know, do I want to risk it? I mean, maybe she'll over-predict, but do I really want to count on that right now? I mean, that is a very, very risky play, but we may just have to take it. This Alakazam will be a problem, though. At the very least, if it had a Focus Sash, that is gone. So we are going to stay in. We're going to try to kill this thing. There's the Shadow Ball. Can we live it? No, we cannot. I thought we might be able to. But Delphox is going down. Poor Wandissimo. That was my fault for predicting her to overpredict, or maybe thinking that we had a shot at living that. I don't know why I thought that. Alakazam is so incredibly powerful. That was a bad play on my part, and that might actually cost me because now I cannot switcheroo Choice Specs onto something like Blissey or Skarmory. Both of them would not like to have Choice Specs. So now it looks like we're going to have to trick something with Rotom eventually. It looks that way. Now I can threaten this thing out with a Bullet Punch. Part of me wants to just U-turn out, expecting the Skarmory to come in. But with how low this Alakazam is, I don't know if she's going to want to save it. She is going to switch out, though. In comes the, however you want to say that nickname. But we did U-turn, so that's great. At least I predicted that. And didn't go for the Bullet Punch because that would do absolutely nothing. Not that U-turn did anything, but at least we get some momentum here. And this is where Volt Switching and Volt Turning come into play, because we're slowly but surely going to, get chip damage, and not give them a chance to, or not give our opponent the chance to heal up. And eventually we'll be able to take one of these Pokemon down. So out comes the Blissey, the Bubbles. Again, because we have the Rotom in here. I went for the T-Bolt this time, and that does absolutely nothing. But we do get the Paralysis. I'm pretty sure that a Heal Bell or an Aromatherapy or something like that is coming. Actually, she could just switch out too, because most of the time Blissey runs the Natural Cure. So that is the thing. We are locked into the T-Bolt though, so I think switching is probably going to be our best bet here. Staying in and going for T-Bolt would be bad unless my opponent predicts me to switch out and then switches into the Skarmory again. And then she has all the momentum, and that would be disastrous. That would be very disastrous. So we're going to switch out Rotom here. We really don't have much of a choice. We're going to go into our Crobat. And she's going to go for the Wish. And, oh man, she's going to try to pass it off to something. And it's going to be really, really unfortunate. I was really expecting a Heal Bell there. But the Wish is real. Well, I guess because she can switch out and have the Natural Cure. So there's no reason for her to go for a Heal Bell. I guess, if we Brave Bird, I don't know that will kill with the massive, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I keep mispronouncing words, and I don't know why I'm doing that. My brain is on a different wavelength than my mouth, apparently. What I was trying to say is that because of the massive HP stat of Blissey, I don't know that a Brave Bird will KO. So she's going to withdraw the Blissey here and go out into the Ditto. Okay, who's going to transform into Crobat yet again. And that is a bit unfortunate. Maybe predicting a switch, but we are going to go for the U-turn, get some momentum here. We can go into our Rotom Mo, and that will outspeed this opposing Crobat, pretty sure. Well, will it? Will it with the Choice Scarf? Maybe not. Choice Scarf with Crobat speed? I don't know. I'm not running max speed on this Crobat, which is kind of strange. I'm running quite a bit of HP investment, because it's kind of like a utility set that I'm running. Kind of like a utility pivot with the U-turn and the Defog and the Roost and all that stuff. Black Sludge. But we're going to go into the Rotom anyway. I am running max speed on this thing. I know Crobat's speed is like 130. And there's also the chance that this thing is not Choice Scarf too. And I don't know, it's going to be locked into whatever move it decides to go for, so I don't know. There's a lot of things at play here. She is going to just straight up withdraw. She's afraid of this Rotom Mo, or wants to save the Ditto, either or, and Bubbles is coming out, and it's going to take absolutely no damage from that Volt Switch at all. I kind of wish I was Choice Specs, but that really wouldn't make that much of a difference because Blissey is so incredibly thick that it is out of control. Basically, the bulk on this team is out of control. Absolutely out of control. So now we have to make a decision. Who are we going to go into? Let's go ahead and go into the Swampert here. Let's get Swampert some action. All we've been doing is Volt Switching and U-turning, and we haven't given some of our other Pokemon a chance to actually do anything. So Swampert's in here, and we can set up rocks, because there's been so much switching going on that the Blissey's not going to like that too much, and I don't see any way for my opponent to get rid of the rocks unless the Ditto transforms into the Crobat on my side and then defogs, but that would be... I don't know, that's kind of a lot. It's kind of a lot for that to happen. Now, we were able to get the rocks up, which is absolutely fantastic. And we're going to be getting some chip damage and break any potential focus sashes, meaning the Smeargle is what I'm really thinking about right here. She hasn't even brought that out yet, and I still think that she's waiting for the Crobat to go down, or at least take a lot of damage to the point where it can't do much when it comes back in, before she brings that Smeargle out. But it probably has a focus sash, so having the rocks up and having that be broken is absolutely fantastic because she won't be able to just run all over my team. Basically, we're gonna go for a waterfall here. I should have went for the EQ predicting the roost because the roost was pretty obvious, and that's what she went for, and waterfall does absolutely nothing. But on the bright side, we did get the rocks up. I mean, I need to try to like focus on the victory here. We are down by one Pokemon. We are like, what are we? Almost 15 minutes into this battle, and there's the defog. Oh, the defog Skarmory is real. Okay, well, I didn't even think about that because Skarmory doesn't normally run defog, or at least the ones that I've seen have not normally run defog. So it's normally like Stealth Rock or Spikes, and then Roost, Brave Bird, and Whirlwind. But that is not the case here. Defog is real, and this thing is also running Taunt. So obviously it's a different set. I should have figured that out, but anyway, the Ditto is coming in here. It's going to activate its Imposter. Rotom-Mow is on the other side of the field now. We're going to get a Volt Switch off. That should do an okay amount of damage. It's going to... Well, no, not really. It's Quad Resisted. Grass Electric. What am I thinking? What am I thinking? I've been getting, like, my type matchups wrong, like, the last week or so. I've been thinking things are super effective and not very effective on things that they're not, and I don't know. It's not like I'm rusty. It's not like I haven't been playing or anything like that. It's just, I don't know, my head hasn't been in the game, I guess. Now, what do we have that can take on this Rotom-Mow? With most likely a Choice Scarf. Not positive, because it could have very easily went for the Brave Bird on my Rotom-Mow the last time she was in with this Ditto, and it was Crobat, but... So that makes me think that maybe she was afraid because she's not Choice Scarf, afraid that my Rotom would outspeed and kill it. I don't really know. Not really positive. I don't know what other item Ditto would be holding other than the Choice Scarf. That's the item that I always see on it. So, not really sure. But we're going to go into Tinsect here, because this thing can't do a whole lot to us. I mean, what's it going to do? It's going to trick us a Choice Scarf? I don't really think so, because it doesn't want to get a Choice Band. That would be absolutely terrible. She's just going to go for the Thunderbolt, and we can take that. Okay, it does about 45%. The U-turn Choice Banded, that's going to take out this Ditto. So finally, 16 minutes into this battle, we're finally getting a KO on our opponent. Finally. Man, I told you this is going to be a long battle. We're in it for the long haul. This is going to be well over 20 minutes, probably over a half an hour as well, the way this is going. But at least we got rid of that Ditto. That is a huge problem out of the way, and likely Choice Scarf user gone. So that is fantastic. Scizor did have to take some damage to get that KO, but we do have Wish support with Sylveon, and with all of the walls running around on my opponent's team, we probably will be able to get a Wish Pass off if we really need to. So now we need to decide who we're going to go into. The problem with this situation is that whoever we go into, our opponent is going to get initiative because we have to choose first, obviously, because we U-turned. So my opponent will be able to just send out whatever she wants to counter. So if I send out a special attacker, the Blissey is coming in. If I send in a physical attacker, the Skarmory is coming in. That's just what it is. So we're going to go into the Sylveon right now. Let's have Sylveon get some screen time. Finally, all of our Pokemon have been out now. We've gotten to see our entire team kind of do something. So out comes the Smeargle now. Okay, not a bad play because now she will be able to get up hazards and stuff pretty much for free. Can't do much about it with Sylveon out here. And her Focus Sash is still intact because she was able to defog with Skarmory a few turns ago and get rid of the rocks that I put up earlier. So Swampert's work was in vain. It really didn't get to damage anybody. So that is unfortunate. Definitely unfortunate. And I don't know. I'm kind of predicting a Spore here. Really predicting a Spore. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into Rotom predicting that. Oh, but she has the Dark Void, not the Spore. I mean, that's the risk we had to take. It's one or the other, and it ended up being Dark Void just so she can put grass types to sleep. It works in this situation. Rotom is asleep. We do have the Heal Bell on the Sylveon, so switching out isn't necessarily a bad idea, but there was really nothing I had to stop the Dark Void. Something was going to fall asleep. It was just a matter of what it was going to be, basically, because I had nothing to stop that at all. And we're going to stay in and burn a turn of sleep here. I'm guessing the Sticky Web or the Stealth Rock is coming. There's the Sticky Web. Thankfully, our Crobat is still in good health because we can come in and defog after she's done doing all of these shenanigans. And we don't have rocks up on our opponent's side of the field either, so defogging really isn't that big of an issue. Then we can set up our own rocks afterwards, after the Smeargle is not in anymore. And if we can prevent the Skarmory from going for another defog, we can have that Focus Sash broken yet again. There's the Stealth Rocks. So we've got all kinds of things going on our side of the field that are not really fun. We've got Stealth Rocks, we've got Sticky Web, we've got a Pokemon that's asleep. Out goes the Smeargle, and in comes the Bubbles to try to get wishes off and all of that stuff. We are going to get the Volt Switch off though, so we get a little bit of chip damage off in this thing. No free wishes for the Blissey, which is imperative, otherwise this match would have went a lot longer, because now we can keep up the offensive pressure on this thing and get some defogs going. Gonna go right into Crobat. I don't really want to mess around here, because if I keep these hazards around, it could cause some issues later on. Now, I can go for the Brave Bird the first turn to try to keep some pressure up, but she could go right into the Skarmory. That's very possible, but I also want to defog. I really want to defog. Really want to defog to get rid of all of these hazards. It's too many hazards. But, yeah, we have options here. So she's going to withdraw the Bubbles. The Skarmory is definitely coming in. There it is. And it's still in really good health. And we went for the Brave Bird, so that's not the best thing in the world. I thought she might try to stay in and wish, predicting a, whatchamacallit, a defog. But no, we get a crit on the Brave Bird. Not that that matters at all. A little bit of recovery due to the Black Sludge. Now we can definitely go for the defog, because I'm pretty sure this Skarmory is not carrying any hazards. That's what the Smeargle is for. So there's the defog. Goodbye hazards. I'm not interested in having you on my side of the field. Just not interested one bit. There is the Roost. So this Skarmory is going to be back at full health, and there's nothing I can do about it. But at the very least, I'm not really focusing on this Skarmory right now. We need to keep the pressure up so that the Blissey eventually goes down, because once that Blissey is out of here, the rest of the team is just going to fall apart, because Skarmory cannot take on my special attackers like Rotom Mo. So that's going to put us in a great position. It's just a matter of getting there, and it's a very slow process, and we have to utilize our Volt Switching momentum in order to be able to get there, or Volt Turning rather. I'm sorry. Alright, so we're U-turning out because we don't want to stay in on a Skarmory. Obviously, we can't do anything to it. And, man, we are well over the 20-minute mark now in this battle. And I think it's still 5-5. So we're going to go into the Rotom. There's the Rotom. There is the Taunt. And that's, I mean, that's not really that bad. It just means that we can't trick it, which is kind of what I wanted to do, to be honest. But it looks like we're not going to be able to trick this Skarmory right now. We're going to have to Volt Switch out, and the Bubbles is going to come out, but it's going to take some more chip damage. Definitely going to take some more chip damage, and that's only going to help our case. Every little bit of damage counts, because it just does. It does. We need that Blissey to be as weak as possible. Eventually, maybe we can score a crit or something. I mean, that's hoping for hacks, but I really just have no other way to break this core at all. Alright, so we're going to Volt Switch out here as usual. That's what we've been doing this entire match. And this Blissey is almost out into the red zone, which is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I'm actually very excited about that. I'm sure you guys are too. At this point in the match, I'm sure you're very excited that this Blissey is almost out of here. Now, what do we want to go into? That is the question. We have options, but if I bring in a physical attacker, the Skarmory's going to come out again. And it can just continually roost up on us, and there's really nothing we can do about it. But we're going to go into with the Tinsect here. Good old Scizor. And Blissey's going to get the lefties recovery, so that is the thing. I wish I had knockoff because then I could get rid of the lefties. That would really help. That would honestly really help out a lot. But there's not much that we can do about that. So, I guess, are we really U-turning again? Are we really going to do that? The Bubbles is going to withdraw. The Skarmory's coming out. Oh no, the Skarmory's not coming out. That threw me for a loop, not going to lie. The Gyarados is coming in. And that is a bit... I mean, it's not unfortunate. It just is. U-turn still does a decent amount of damage, even after we're intimidated. Because we're just back to neutral attack, basically, because of the choice band. So I guess that makes sense. And I really don't see any reason to not go into the Rotom here. I mean, we could go into Sylveon, because there's potential that this thing just still hasn't Mega Evolved yet, and we could try to Hyper Voice it and all that stuff, and I am invested in my physical defense, bold natured, all that stuff, but I don't think that's a good idea, so let's just go into the Rotom Mo here. And what I want to do, actually, is I'm going to make a little bit of a risky play. She's been switching so much that I don't think she can resist switching in I was about to say Chansey, the Blissey on this. I don't think she can resist it. I think that's what's coming. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go for the trick. If she stays in here with the Gyarados, that is going to be the worst possible thing that has ever happened in my life. It really will. But unless it goes for Dragon Dance, in which case that's not that bad of a thing. But I really think that the Blissey is coming in here, so if we can trick it, a Choice Scarf, that's going to cripple it, and we will definitely be able to take it out afterwards. It's going to be just not that much of a problem at all. We'll also get lefties in return, so that's not bad. So come on, show me the Blissey. You know you want to switch into Blissey. You know you do. You've done it almost every other time that this Rotom has been in. Just about every other time. So let's see it. Come on, I want to see that Blissey right now. My fingers are crossed. I'm hoping that Dragon Dance is not a thing. Because, I mean, she won't even be locked into it. She'll get to choose another move the next turn. So she'll have +1/+1, and then be able to destroy my life. So it comes down to this, basically. She could really poke a big hole in my team if she does not do what I think she's going to do. But I think I had this prediction. I think this is a good prediction. I think we'll see in a minute here once she's really like thinking about it. So she's debating. She's debating. This is a tough decision. I know it really is. It really is. She hasn't seen the trick yet, but it's very possible that I have it. There, the Gyarados is going out, and the Bubbles is coming in. There's the Blissey. That is what I wanted to see. Yes. Yes. All right, Blissey, you are crippled. Because the only attacking move this thing probably has is going to be the Seismic Toss, if I had to guess. She probably has like Heal Bell / Aromatherapy, and then Toxic, and Wish, and all that stuff. Now we can Volt Switch out. We can also change moves the next time that we are in, so we can T-Bolt and then Leaf Storm, for example. One after the other. Now, this Blissey is down into the red zone. I mean, we're still not out of the woods yet here, because if we switch into physical attacker, she can still switch into Skarmory, which is in pretty good health at this point, but we are well on our way to breaking down this core. Finally. Finally. This battle is going on a half an hour now, and it's still 5-5, I think. Unless I missed something, or I'm blanking out, which is also very possible, because at this point, like, you've been commentating this long, trying to focus, trying to win the battle, trying to keep your head in the game. It's like, it's difficult sometimes. It's mighty difficult. So let's see, what do we want to go into here? We have options. We definitely have options. I don't want to go into something like Sylveon that can't kill this thing, though, because then the Wish would be real. So let's go into our Crobat, because we always have the option of switching out, and the Toxic is very real. There it is, so that's not going to do anything at all, because we're immune to that. So that puts us in a good position. And yeah, it's still 5-5. Oh my goodness. Still 5-5. This is absolutely a ridiculous match. Out goes the Blissey. In comes the Skarmory for the 100th time. We're going to Brave Bird, and that's not going to do a whole lot. I really thought she might try to sack off the Blissey there, or switch something in that wasn't Skarmory. But I pretty much had to go for the Brave Bird. I mean, I know I could have U-turned, but I don't want to just continue to do the Volt turning shenanigans. don't want to keep doing that. But it looks like I'm going to have to. I'm going to finally break down that Blissey. So, let's see here. Let's see. We can U-turn out. I guess we have to U-turn out. Or, I mean, we can hard switch, but that doesn't do us much good. It's not like we're getting hurt by Rocky Helmet or any of that stuff. I know, I feel like I'm saying the same thing, like, over and over and over again, but this battle has been one of the most repetitive battles that I've had in a really long time. But, I mean, that's what happens when you go up against a stalling-ish core. So, I mean, the Skarmory isn't really a stalling Pokemon, but the Scar and Bliss core is just, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So, she's going to switch out and go into the Red Devil. I was not predicting that. Not predicting that at all. So that is a thing, I guess. Intimidate, and that doesn't, I mean, Intimidate doesn't do anything to Sylveon. Sylveon doesn't care about that. Sylveon's not feeling intimidated. Look, she's fine. She's good. I mean, it's a he. It's a boy Sylveon. It's allowed to be feminine. So I guess we can just Hyper Voice. I don't see any reason not to. There's the Mega Evolution. I had a feeling that this thing was Mega Gyarados. I really did. Really did. So we'll see what she wants to go for with this thing now. It's going to go for the Waterfall. We really need to hope that there's no flinching involved, because this is still going to do a decent amount of damage, because it is a Mega Gyarados. No flinch. There's the Hyper Voice. And Mega Gyarados is down. So we're taking a 5-4 lead. And we're going to get some lefties recovery. And it's going to be a good time. Going to be a good time. What does she have left? She's got Skarmory, she's got Blissey, she's got Alakazam. That was the Pokemon that I could not think of, and the Smeargle is still around as well, and I believe that's still at full health. We have not been able to get up the rocks again, so the Focus Sash is going to be intact, unless for some reason she's not running Focus Sash on the Smeargle, which is very rare. Now, I don't think this thing can kill us, can it? It's not going to have a Poison-type move, it's not going to have anything. It's not going to have anything for us, other than maybe Psyshock. It's going to go for the Shadow Ball. We are physically defensive, though, so maybe that can do some decent damage. It does a decent chunk, but we're going to be able to get a Wish off. Because, and that's great, because she did not get the special D drop, and then with lefties, that's going to put us back up over the 50% mark, or actually just at the 50% mark. We're at exactly 50% right now. I don't think anything else that she has is going to kill us. Psyshock is going to be close, though. Gonna be close. We're gonna live with 4 HP, so that Wish may have been a really bad play. But the Hyper Voice is gonna take out this Alakazam, and we're going to get all kinds of things back. We're pretty much right back where we were before. Actually, a little bit better than that, considering the lefties recovery afterwards. So we're working on 5-3 right now. Skarmory, Blissey, and the Smeargle are left, and that really is going to seal the match, I think. I don't think there's much that my opponent can do now with that core. There really isn't. Or not that core, but those 3 Pokemon. She's going to go for the Defog. Did I get rocks up and I missed it? My evasiveness falls. No, I didn't set up rocks. Maybe she misclicked. That's very possible. We're going to go for the Wish. And we're going to pass it. Or maybe we can just keep it for ourselves. Because this Skarmory cannot do anything to us. We can just do whatever we want, basically. Hyper Voice is still going to do a decent amount of damage. Even if we want to stay in for that, because, I mean, it's a special attack. I know it's a resisted hit on Skarmory, but Skarmory's not going to like that. Its special defense is usually pretty freaking bad. It has to rely on its many resistances to do well on the special side. And with Steel being nerfed this generation, that really didn't help it a whole lot, because now Ghost and Dark-type moves can do a number on it. We're going to switch out, though. We're going to go into our Tinsect and pass that Wish over, because this Skarmory, like I said, can't do much. She goes for the Defog again. Double misclick? Or was she actually trying to do something? I don't really understand what's going on right now. I'm kind of confused. Unless she's like about to forfeit here and she just gave up after that point. I don't really know. But I'm a little bit confused. There's the Roost at almost full health. I think she may have just given up. I think this battle might just be over now. We're going to U-turn out, though, and we can go into our, I guess, Rotom and start killing things with T-Bolt. Because the rest of her team doesn't really like a T-Bolt. And, I mean, to be fair, nothing on her team ever really wanted to take a T-Bolt except for Blissey. She didn't have any immunities to it. There were no ground types, even though she had a Gyarados, and usually Gyarados will be accompanied by a ground type like 90% of the time. There's the T-Bolt. She leaves the Skarmory in this time because she cannot switch into Blissey because it's at a very low HP. The Skarmory goes down, so that is pretty much going to signal the end of the match, or the end of this team, because the Blissey's going to come in. I don't think we can kill it with one T-Bolt. Not from that HP, because it's really just not going to do anything. We could try a Leaf Storm, but again, I don't know if that's going to actually KO or not. We can give it a try, I suppose, but we're not even going to have to do that because the match is forfeited. So I guess she didn't want to watch the rest of her team go down. I don't really know. But that's going to be it for this time, guys. Want to thank you very much for watching. As always, want to thank Lorraine for the match. And don't forget to leave a thumbs up on this video if you enjoyed it, because it does help out a lot. I'm very surprised that we won with bringing only 2 OU Pokemon against a Skarmory Blissey core. But she had a team that was very, not weak, but it was vulnerable to a Volt turning strategy. And that ended up being what did her in there. So that's going to be it, guys. Thank you very much for watching, as I mentioned, and I will see you all for the next battle. But until then, game on.